Right, so Final Fantasy Rebirth. This particular fight against the Materia Guardian. Um, the main reason why I love this is just because I get to kind of showcase Sephiroth. You barely get to play the guy. And I think a lot of people don't get to really enjoy just how good he actually is. I even saw people complaining about how he's less epic in Rebirth compared to the original, and I sometimes think, well, that's just because probably you've not taken the time to learn how to play him properly. Because once you figure how to play him properly, he's an absolute beast. I mean, don't get me wrong, still not on the level as of the original, but it's still well worth a bit of a showcase. So in terms of materia setup, well, there's not much that you can control at this particular point. If you picked up precision defense focus materia, that is useful to have. And then really the only other thing you want is fire. And if you have the level boost materia, to link that to the fire on Cloud. And that's really, that's all really that you need in terms of the setup. So what I'm going to do is, if you just want to see the fight, I'll put a link in the description to the fight at the end of the video, so you can just see the pure fight. Otherwise, I will do the guide on how to do this fight in the best way possible with Sephiroth. Right, so there is lots that I want to show, so we'll just run into the cave, skip the cutscene, and then straight away go to Cloud and block by going into Punisher mode. So if you don't know, when you go into Punisher mode, Cloud automatically blocks, and if you do it at just the right time in Rebirth, they've got a new feature, unlike in Remake, where if you block just at the right moment, you become immune to the attack, which is why Cloud didn't take any damage there. And I really like that. I didn't realize you could combine those two things. So switching to Punisher mode blocks, and if you do that perfectly, then Cloud actually takes no damage. So that's what's happened just here. And then what you want to do is stay really up close to the Materia Guardian. If you go further away, he just has some different moves that he does which are harder to block or dodge. Although in the quick version, I show you how to deal with the other attacks that he does as well. Yeah, the aim for now is to let him attack you. You don't really have to attack him. Although I do like to, and then try and block at just the right moment. I've obviously figured how to do it, but it doesn't even matter if you take damage. Honestly, it doesn't matter. You just want him to get through his attacks. He does about 5 attacks before the next significant moment, at which point we switch to Sephiroth, and I'll show you a bit more about Sephiroth. But for now, we're just going to be Cloud. So stay up close. I'm going to stay close. You want to remember to get out of Punisher mode. So if you go into Punisher mode and block, then you want to get out of it in order that you can block again in this way. You don't have to do it by going to Punisher mode. You can just use normal block. But I like Punisher mode because then he does this counter attack, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to see what he does now. And you see I didn't dodge that in time, but that's completely okay. It's because I'm commentating. He's going to raise up and then block just in time, and you take no damage. So it is a bit harder because I'm commentating. He's doing dual tail lash again, just at the right moment, and you don't take any damage. Then swing, 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 attack. And this is the key move that he does, Seizing Claws. It throws up an introductory explanation because we're early in the game. You want to let him grab Cloud, which sounds counterintuitive, but I'll show you why in a sec. So I'm going to resume and switch to Sephiroth, which is who we really want to be. So with Sephiroth right now, just in order to get the timing of this right, you can see the pressure gauge under the Materia Guardian is up to about 1/4. So that's good. But I'm going to stay close to the Guardian right now and wait for this next pop-up to appear, which explains that Cloud has now been grabbed, and this is where we get to experience a bit of the magic of being Sephiroth. So, thing about Sephiroth is that if you dodge roll towards the target, you just teleport right there, like he did just now. And you want to teleport to this hind leg. I'm not paying attention, so I just got hit there. But basically, you want to destroy that hind leg, which you can do really quickly with Sephiroth by just teleporting towards it. Then go back to Cloud, and hopefully, if you've been attacking, you'll have 2 ATB available with Cloud and with Sephiroth. And while he's pressured now, this is the key moment. I've just done two focus thrusts against the Guardian. You can see that he's nearly staggered. Now just with Sephiroth, continue to attack until he is staggered. And you can see Sephiroth's limit break is going up. Now we're just going to use Fire Aga. Here we go. With Sephiroth, which will do an insane amount of damage. Jump back to Cloud, go into Punisher mode, and just swing away to build up some ATB with Cloud. Eventually you'll see on the Materia Guardian that you can't do any more damage. So what we'll do now is we'll go back to Sephiroth, and once I cancel out of tactical mode, have a look at his special abilities. With Sephiroth, if you don't take any damage whilst you're attacking, specific special abilities appear. So Sword Dance, Telluric Fury, and if you do Telluric Fury, which I just did, it increases his limit break. So you may not have seen all of that. By all means, rewind and have a look at that. But his special attacks increase his limit break, and we want his limit break for this. So we've done enough damage to him now that we're moving to the next phase of the battle. He's gonna go up into the roof, and once again we'll use Sephiroth's amazing teleporting ability to just zip him right to one of the limbs of this Guardian. So the right foreleg, then just attack that, and in no time he's gonna fall down from the roof, and we'll get Fire Aga set off again against Materia Guardian. And we'll do the same with Cloud, and this is where it's useful if you have the level up Materia linked to fire, then Cloud will be able to do Fire. So we're going to have Fire Aga and Fire going off against him, and it does a massive amount of damage. In fact, enough damage to now push the Guardian to the next stage of the fight. Now at this point it's important that you do a couple of things. You want Sephiroth's limit gauge to go up to about 3/4. So you're going to be using his special abilities. The best of his special abilities is Telluric Fury. So you want to do that, and you also want to build his ATB up to 2 bars. So that's what we're going to do now. You see Sword Dance and then Telluric Fury at the bottom left. Telluric Fury again. And there we go. Now we're at 3/4 on his limit gauge, which is where we want him. Okay. And then block when those stones fall, and we're going to move into the third phase already. Basically, from the minute this thing goes up to the roof, the entirety of the rest of the fight is 100% forced using this strategy. So you're not having to think too much. Just follow the pattern. There are slight variations depending on how soon he staggers and what it is exactly that staggers him. The goal is for Sephiroth to stagger him, but it might wind up being Cloud who staggers him. It doesn't really matter. So what you need to do now, it does explain this in the description that I just deleted, but to use a synergy ability, Double Helix, you need to use that against him. So that's an ability where Cloud and Sephiroth both jump up and do this attack. Now, normally it's Sephiroth that will do the actual staggering at this point. Sometimes it's Cloud. It just depends a little bit on luck. But normally it's Sephiroth, and we've been building up Sephiroth's limit gauge to the point that now he has a limit break available, and pretty much that limit break, Octaslash is going to finish the guy off. So they've not even finished their synergized ability yet. Double Helix, so there you go, final attack there. I mean, to be careful, let's just get Cloud to throw a Fire off as well against him, but the Octaslash should be plenty to end him. There you go. So that's how you do that. There's lots to say about Sephiroth that I've not been able to showcase in this particular battle. What you've seen is his ability to teleport to wherever an enemy is. That teleport ability, he disappears and then reappears. So it works a little bit, if you've played Integrate, it works also a little bit like Yuffie's Brummel form. It can happen in midair or it can happen on the ground at any point. just disappear for a little bit and then reappear. And so this, with him, he'll reappear at the target if you're moving towards a target. But you can also just disappear and reappear in any direction that you're kind of trying to get him to move. And unlike Yuffie, he just does it automatically. He doesn't need a special ability or any ATB available in order to be able to do that. With his special abilities, that depends on him not getting hit. So if he doesn't get hit and he's attacking, after a certain while, special abilities become available. One of them is called Pierce, the other is called Sword Dance, the other is called Telluric Fury. There's another one in midair that I think is something about slashing in the air. I don't know what it. And there's a fifth one, which is if he's in the middle of dodging, then there's another ability that he can do, which it's an area effect attack against lots of enemies. And with all of these abilities, if he makes contact, it builds up his limit gauge, which is completely unique. None of the other characters have a special ability that increases their limit gauge, to my knowledge, at this point in time. So that's a really, really broken thing. He could, therefore he can get Octaslash pretty quickly. Telluric Fury is the best one for building up both his ATB and building up his limit. And so that's what I was using in this fight. There are a couple of other things I haven't got to showcase, like, for example, their synergy skills. So there's one, which I forget the name of it, which Cloud also has a version of it with Tifa and with Aerith, where it charges up his sword and then it unleashes an attack in a certain direction. But the synergy abilities in this one, there's one like that where he charges up his sword. There's another one where he actually uses, I think it's called Counter Strike, or Counter Fire, it might be called. And in the quick version, which is coming after this, you get to see that in action. There's one move that this guy does where that's a perfect counter. So learning to use the synergy skills is obviously really, really useful. But just you don't get much time with Sephiroth to get to enjoy those. So yeah, I think that's all I'll say for now. Thank you for watching. I hope this made sense. And yeah, I'll just get on and show you now the quick version of the fight.